So we're at a 200 NL4 in cash game, and we've got pocket sixes in MP, and I hope we make the open. So we get called by a 1713 reg on the cutoff, and I think it's important to just think about his range here, because the most important thing here is that we have a fish in the small blind, a really, really big fish, a 6320. So that immediately suggests to me that this guy who's calling has got a really, really wide range. And by wide, I don't mean weak. I mean it consists of all the nutted hands and obviously all the unknutted hands. So he's got like 6-7 suited right through to pocket aces, I think, pre. It is quite hard to assume that he has though like aces and kings pre, but I would say as a general nowadays people are flatting aces and kings pre because they're more positionally aware when it comes to where fish are and when fish are behind, and they're realizing that by calling these big pairs it means they can get into pots with the fish with big pairs, and that is going to be much more profitable. But of course we know his range is very, very wide, so the fish does fold. So we see Queen 6 deuce rainbow. This for me is a really standard c-bet, just for the fact that I would c-bet this board pretty much always, given that how wide he is pre-flop as well. So he makes the call. I'd say when he calls the flop, again, his range is still really, really wide. He has, of course, he has aces, kings, ace queen, pocket queens, pocket twos, king queen, jack queen, and also a load of other hands like ace jack of clubs, ace 10 of clubs, ace jack of diamonds, all those kind of hands with really good backdoor equity, and that's not to mention even if he's feeling a little bit spicy, he may even have like ace 3 of spades, ace 4 of spades, or even 4-5 of spades. So on the turn, I think that I've lent towards betting, which I'll show here, because I would always barrel an ace turn if I had a bluff here. I would of course barrel my, if I'd see bet like jack 10 of diamonds or 8-9 of diamonds or 6-7 or 6-8 of diamonds, all those kind of hands that have turned back directly, I would always two barrel. And not even to mention that he knows that I'm going to barrel an ace a lot if I do have a bluff, because of course it's an overcard, so a queen is pretty scary. But that kind of goes back on itself because now we know, well, now he can't really fold a queen because, as for the reasons I've just given, I'd always barrel an ace here, so he can't really fold a queen. So when he does make the call, I assume his range is pocket twos, pocket queens, pocket aces, king queen, jack queen. He might fold jack queen on the turn, but I still think he'd probably call. And then not to mention all of the ace-x of clubs and ace-x of spades that I said previously. So it's fair to say that he, whilst when he calls the turn, we know he's at least got a queen, like without a doubt. So the river is a jack of spades, and for me this is just another really standard c-bet because he can have jack queen still, he can have ace queen, he can have ace jack, he can have pocket twos still. I mean, if he has ace 10, he's certainly favourite to check back that on the river. If he's got ace king, he's certainly favourite to check on the river as well. So I feel that betting is easily going to be the most profitable play here to extract from all of those ace-x hands, and maybe a hero call from queen x. So I go ahead and bet 52. As for my sizing, this is pretty standard sizing for me. If I was going to have any bluffs here, which to be honest I don't think I have that many bluffs in this spot, maybe that's bad, but if I was to bluff I would definitely go something like this sizing to try and make him fold out like an ace-x that might want a hero call, but hopefully they'd fold. So this is where it gets a bit interesting. He shoves. When he shoves the river, we have to consider what hands he can have that are firstly worse for value. So we've established he can have deuces, he can have ace queen, and he can have ace jack. But I mean, the question I'm asking myself is, does he ever shove any of those hands for value? I mean, what can I call with when I've bet the river this strong? I've three barreled him. What can I possibly call with? So with that in mind, we're now only really bluff catching. And then you have to ask yourself the question, what hand is he turning into a bluff now? I mean, is ace queen not favourite to flat the river? Is ace jack not favourite to flat the river? Personally, I think that they are all favourites to flat the river. And the only hands he can actually shove the river with are, I mean, occasionally deuces. Okay, yeah, sure, sometimes. But other than that, it's pretty much only queens and aces.